You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra from the BBC. The rise of the Scotland team on the international scene has been nothing short of remarkable. In March 2005, they were 88th in the FIFA rankings. They're now 14th and just 90 minutes away from qualifying for Euro 2008.
Free kick delivered right across. Oh, and Scotland have scored, and Kenny Miller is there! This could not have been a better start for Scotland! Scotland 1, Ukraine 0.
I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you.
And they have the big men, Weir and McManus in the box. This is a training ground move. Chip ball away to the back. McCulloch shot in. Oh, and Scotland have scored again! Lee McCulloch, a perfectly executed training ground move. They will have to be careful because the yellow shirts are coming forward now. Ball is played across the penalty area. Oh, and there's a goal for Ukraine, and the man who has got it is Shevchenko. Suddenly Scotland are beginning to come forward again. The ball goes to McFadden. Can McFadden do it again? He does! Oh, he does it again! The man who is the legend for Scotland has pulled it out of the fire again. Scotland 3, Ukraine 1. All hail James McFadden.
Well, I know I'm gonna be the man who's going over you.
Here's the corner, swung into the near post. It's a header and it's a goal. And it's the player I was talking about, Chet Lindsay, the 17-year-old. And it's the worst possible start for Scotland. It's Georgia 1, Scotland 0. And all of a sudden, the qualification task has got much tougher for Alex McLeish and his players. Kurt Failure, left-hand side. His free kick just tested Gordon. Gets to the byline and pulls it back. And it's the second Georgia goal, scored by David Siradzi. And is that the goal that puts a nail in the Scotland coffin in terms of qualification for Euro 2008? They're 2-0 down in Georgia, and it's one heck of a long way back from here.
And when I'm dreaming, well, I know I'm gonna dream about the time when I'm with you.
I don't think anybody in Scotland would have tipped that we would get to the last game, to a position where to win the game we can qualify for the European Championships. No one in Scotland gave us a chance of this scenario.
I'm gonna be the man who's coming home with you.
One of the guys providing the musical accompaniment to that montage of Scottish passion was Charlie Reid of the Proclaimers, who's on tour at the moment. He took a few minutes out of his schedule to impress upon me just how great this resurgence in Scottish football is.
It's been a great story. I think a lot of it's been the necessity being the mother of invention. You know, I think for a long time within the league in Scotland, a lot of foreign players have been signed. And maybe Celtic and Rangers at some point thought they were going to get into the English Premiership. I suspect now that's not going to happen, if not ever, certainly for a very long time. And I think they've had to go back to playing more Scottish players. I think there's been a good number of young players coming through at certain clubs, particularly Hibs, but Hearts as well, and even Aberdeen's produced a couple. So I think it's just one of those things that goes in cycles. A very small nation. For a while, it was the standard was very poor. And hopefully we're getting back to something around what we had in the 60s and 70s.
We could end up with a situation if Scotland beat Italy at Hampden next month that Scotland will be through and England are out.
Possible, yeah. I mean, you know, I'll put it this way, I'll not be betting my house on beating the world champions, and I certainly wouldn't be doing it against a team that is the masters of snatching the one-goal victory or the draw, if that's all they need. But you never know, it would be fantastic to go. I think they've already had a massive achievement by beating France home and away. I think to beat them at Hampden, there was an element of the fluke about that, but there was no fluke in Paris. I think they thoroughly deserved it, and I think that is the true sign of how far the team's come on.
And what about some of your enduring memories of the Scotland team? I guess you're sort of early 60s birth, aren't you? So I guess Ali's Army is your sort of teenage memory.
It is, and before that, you know, I mean, I remember guys like Colin Steen that played for Hibs and played for Rangers, guys like that, and not so much the Baxter era. I can't remember much about that, but certainly the late 60s and early 70s. And the early 70s team, mid-70s team with Kenny Dalglish, one of the true greats. Even Dennis Law, I can remember him towards the end of his period of playing. I don't know. I think it would be very wrong to say there's anybody of that quality. I don't think there's anybody of the quality of Dennis Law or Dalglish. But then again, they're arguably the best players we've ever produced. So, but I think there's several coming through, notably Scott Brown, that used to play at my team, Hibernian. I think he is real quality, and I suspect will have a good career at Celtic and might go on to have a good career at an English Premiership club as well.
We'll talk about Hibs in a minute, but just staying with the national side for a second. I mean, how did you cope with those fallow years under sort of Bertie Vogts and Andy Roxburgh?
I think it was difficult. I wouldn't say it was that bad under Roxburgh. I think Roxburgh and Craig Brown understand the mentality of the Scottish player. Now, that might not be something that fills you with a lot of joy, but they do get the way the players play. They get their attitude. They could work with the players. I think someone like Bertie Vogts was expecting something of a continental style. I hate to say it, but something maybe a bit more mature than a lot of Scottish players are capable of giving. I think continental coaches expect the players to naturally keep themselves in good condition, to naturally cut down on the drink, and to be kind of more disciplined in their attitude. I think that is slowly permeating Scotland, but it's taken a long time because, like the English, we used to kid ourselves on that we were the best and nobody could match us, and then if year after year it's been proven to be incorrect. So slowly, I think the better Scottish players are maturing in their outlook, and that's coming through at the moment.
Is there something to be said there for the music industry as well, watching what you eat and drink?
I think there's something to be said. If you want a long career, you better keep the weight off, I'll put it that way.
Right, your side, Hibs, away today at Motherwell?
Yeah, I mean, Motherwell's the only team that's beaten us all season. We're unbeaten in the league at the moment. They beat us in the League Cup to put us out the trophy that we held, and destroyed us by all accounts at Easter Road. I still think Hibs will do it today. I think they're a better team than Motherwell, and I think the tactical surprise that they worked at Easter Road won't work today. But hey, famous last words.
Talking derby matches today, obviously the Old Firm on, and what about Hibs derbies with Hearts? How do they figure?
This season has been one, and we won it. Somewhat fortunately, I think on the first game of the season we scored a goal inside, I think, 3 minutes, and that was the only goal of the game.
What about your childhood memories standing on the terraces?
Childhood memories, we used to beat them all the time, and then when I got to teenage years and then in my 20s, we could hardly beat them at all. So it was kind of late 60s into the 80s, very early 80s, we beat them all the time, and then from then on we had a 20-year period where we could beat them 7 or 8 times in the whole period. So it's been very mixed. At the moment it's kind of even Stevens, so I think both clubs are doing well. The difference is Hibs are doing it with players that they're playing reasonable wages to. Hearts are doing it by paying very, very high wages and in a kind of unsustainable way that in the long term I think is not good either for the Scottish players who play at Hearts or the financial well-being of the club. You
ever been to an Old Firm derby?
I haven't, no. My wife comes from the Celtic half of Glasgow, but she's a convert to the Hibs, so we go to the Hibs Hearts derbies, and that's strong enough for me. Celtic and Rangers is of a...
I didn't realise anyone could actually be converted, Charlie.
Well, I think, Celtic originally came about because of the success of Hibernian. They were both Irish Catholic clubs in the 19th century, and so there's always been a connection there. So, but I think Hibs and Hearts is hateful enough. Celtic and Rangers is another level altogether.
Yeah. Anywhere exciting you're touring at the moment? What are you doing?
Everywhere is exciting when we're there, man. Everywhere. It's been great. We've been in Norwich. We're going to Cardiff. We've been to London last week, and we'll be up in Scotland doing a lot of gigs by the end of this year.
Great stuff. All right. Nice to talk to you, Charlie. Take care.
Thank you very much.
All right. And I tell you, if the music doesn't quite work out for you, thought about a career as a football pundit?
Yeah, football pundit. I wouldn't be a football player. My knees couldn't stand it.
Top man Charlie Reid from the Proclaimers, and continuing our Scottish musicians theme and their love of the beautiful game.
And the world may not be shaken yet, but you might prove them wrong. Even long shots make.
I also stole a few minutes with another man on tour, Justin Curry from Delamitri, who wrote and sang the official Scotland team song for the 1998 World Cup. And Justin, it seems, had spotted signs of the Scottish revival before many football pundits.
I think if you've been watching the under-21s for a while, you'd notice that there's something happening. And, I actually thought there were things happening during the Bertie Vogts era. There were a lot of young players going through the team, but maybe too many at once. But it is quite remarkable. I mean, we're really looking forward to this Italy game. I think we're perfectly capable of beating Italy at Hampden. The atmosphere at Hampden in recent years has been second to none, I think.
We're talking with Charlie Reid from the Proclaimers about his childhood memories of the Scottish team. What's the enduring memory for you?
Well, my enduring memory is most of Leeds United playing in blue shirts for Scotland in the 1974 World Cup, that kind of era. That was when I was first conscious of football. And my other enduring memory is filling in the score on my Shoot Incorporating Goal magazine wall charts. When Scotland went out without losing a game, and hysterically crying and gnashing and wailing. It just seems so unfair to me that you could be ejected for the World Cup without losing the game, but there you go.
In terms of your club support, you're a Celtic man?
I am.
What are the Old Firm derbies like? You been?
I haven't been at one in Ibrox before. I've only been in the Celtic Park once. There's something about the roof in Celtic Park that really concentrates the noise onto the pitch. And I swear during the Martin O'Neill era that the crowd were partly responsible for getting us to the UEFA Cup final in those home games, although we played well away from home in that season as well.
Well, you better hop back on the bus, turn the radio on and make sure you're listening.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's a very competitive league this year with Hibs, and I think Rangers look really strong as well. So it's a much more exciting league this year than it has been.
Justin Curry from Delamitri. Apologies for the poor mobile phone line, but Justin had just stepped off the tour bus to speak to me. Rangers 1, Celtic 0, of course. Half-time in our featured game. It's Falkirk versus Kilmarnock, Hearts versus Dundee, Motherwell versus Hibs, as we're hearing there, and St Mirren versus Gretna. The other games today in the SPL. Inverness versus Aberdeen is a 2 o'clock start tomorrow. It's Everton 1, Liverpool 0. The latest in the Barclays Premier League. Sami Hyypiä with an own goal after 38 minutes. Coverage of that game on 5 Live Sport. Everton 1, Liverpool 0. Coming up here on 5 Live Sports Extra from 2:30. It's our new programme, 5 Live Football League, with the news from the Championship, Leagues 1 and 2, and the Blue Square Premier. From 5, we're taking you off to Brazil for the qualifying for the last Grand Prix of the season and potentially Lewis Hamilton's coronation as Formula 1 World Champion. Of course, what a story that would be. More football action tomorrow from 10 to 4. Join me for the build-up to the commentary on West Ham versus Sunderland. That's in the Barclays Premiership, of course, which could be a good hangover cure if you're toasting World Cup glory possibly later on. Coverage of the Rugby World Cup final over on our sister station 5 Live.